Tush push. I think even Eagles fans deep down are like, this is dumb. What do you think about the insertion by the Packers, by the Cowboys into the trade with the Packers for Micah Parsons, that he is not allowed to be traded to the Eagles, their division rival? Do you like it?
I think the minute you have to insert a clause like that in a trade, it means you probably shouldn't be making the trade in the first place.
I don't know. I like it. Pettiness. I'm for it. Like, I mean, why not? If you're going to make the trade, the only team you don't want to see get him is the Eagles. So just put it in there.
Okay, so why you wouldn't worry about him going to the Giants or the Commanders? Those are also division teams.
I'm fine. They stink. I mean, I don't want him with the Eagles. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm fine with it. First of all, I encourage pettiness. Secondly, I also just think it's a smart football move. Maybe you should include it to end the division in general, but maybe there was some reason that the Packers didn't want to do that.
I just think if you have enough respect for the player, okay, to include that clause in the contract, you really don't want to go up against him twice a year. Maybe you should be looking yourself back in the mirror and saying, why are we letting him go somewhere else anyway?
Yeah. I still think it was a smart decision, and I like it. Adds a little drama for this game. Now, next segment, one of the things we've started doing here we like is the King of the Mountain. You know what it is. You give your takes, hot take on sports, and the best one has 30 seconds. The best one is King of the Mountain, and then if they're really good, you take on our current King of the Mountain for the best take of the week. Right now, we have a 2-week champ. It's a song. Aaron, I don't know if you've heard said song. I'm not sure that you're going to enjoy said song, but they've held the crown for 2 months, and now you can come for them. 888-SAY-ESPN. The rules are you got 30 seconds. You make your powerful, funny, interesting, whatever take. Aaron and I will pick the best one, and then if it is good enough, you have a chance to have the belt. We were going to give a belt, and then we were told we can't give a belt. But one day, I have a dream that we will have a belt.
Yeah, it's a psychological.
I wanted someone to have the actual belt.
I know, but then you have to send the belt all over the country to wherever the person lives.
I know, but you know what?
We're taking on too much expense.
We have mail. We should be able to do it. But until then, King of the Mountain, 888-SAY-ESPN. Call now and get on. We'll do it next here on Matt and Myron on ESPN Radio.
Football Sunday on ESPN Radio.
Jackson pumps, throws back end zone, grab, caught, touchdown.
Lamar Jackson leads the Baltimore Ravens into Minneapolis to face J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. Coverage begins today at noon Eastern with kickoff at 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible. Overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Your fantasy roster is set, the Smack Talk is heating up, and this season, ESPN Bet is giving you more ways to ride with your squad. Introducing the ESPN Bet Fan Center, where you can instantly link and bet on your fantasy teams right in the ESPN Bet app. An enhanced sports betting experience only from ESPN Bet, the sportsbook for sports fans. Download the app and link your ESPN Bet and ESPN accounts to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
In the Army National Guard, soldiers serve part-time and close to home.
My community means everything to me. It helps shape me into who I am today, and is where I choose to raise my own family. That's why I joined the Army National Guard. I'm proud of where I'm from, and as a soldier, I get to give back to the people that helped me succeed. The education benefits I got from serving helped me get my degree and jumpstart my career. The training and leadership skills I've gained from the Army National Guard help me every day when I teach young people, help my neighbors, and look out for my community. I know that when my neighbors need us the most, my fellow soldiers and I will be ready. My family loves it here, and my part-time service means we get to stay here.
Serve part-time in the community you live in as a proud member of the Army National Guard. Talk to your local recruiter or visit nationalguard.com. Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard, aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm John Ryder, NFL in Berlin, Germany, and the Falcons have a 17-16 lead on the Colts with 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Michael Penix with a 16-yard touchdown pass to Drake London. Tyler Algier has a touchdown run. Jonathan Taylor has 127 yards rushing and a touchdown. He piled a lot of those up on a recent Indy drive that resulted in a field goal. Justin Fields getting the start at quarterback for the second straight week for the Jets today against the Browns, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. The wild Week 11 in college football included a rally by second-ranked Indiana to defeat Penn State 27-24 at Happy Valley. Fernando Mendoza go-ahead touchdown pass to Omar Cooper with 36 seconds to go. Hoosiers head coach Kurt Cignetti.
It's a game of inches. It truly is. And the team refused to lose. And proud of this football team. Now, tape tomorrow, there'll be a lot of things we won't be proud of. But Penn State's a good football team. But it was the most improbable victory I've ever been a part of, and there couldn't have been a better place to make it happen.
Indiana goes to 10-0, 7-0 in the Big Ten, and third-ranked Texas A&M, they stay undefeated, 9-0, a 38-17 victory at number 22 Missouri. And number 9 Oregon knocking up 20th-ranked Iowa 18-16 on a late field goal with 3 seconds to go. In the NBA, the Lakers' 5-game winning streak's over. They fall to the Hawks in Atlanta 122-110.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Monday, we look ahead to a huge Monday night matchup between the Packers and the Eagles, plus Damian Woody joins us in studio at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
.97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to the Alabama Football Recap Show with Drew DeArmond and Steve Moulton. Smoked by Dreamland Barbecue. Ain't nothing like 'em nowhere. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Drew and Steve.
Single setback will be Daniel Hill behind Ty Simpson. Play action. Ty looking across the middle. He's got a man catches made. That's Jeremy at the 45, dragging a Tiger all the way across midfield to the LSU 46. Move the chains. A bank first down after a 33-yard pickup. Meyer, who gets the snap, sets up the screen across the middle of the tight end. He's got a first down and more. Ball's knocked loose. Fumble recovered by Bama. And that is fantastic because the guy that forced it is the guy that got it. Nakai Hill-Green. A huge hit on the tight end Sharp, who had the first down, but he didn't have the pigskin, and Bama's got it inside the 25 of LSU. Talty to kick it from the hold of Dowd. Snap and spot are good. The kick is up. It's got plenty of leg, and the kick is good. So LSU has missed a field goal, and Alabama drills one. Now Daniel steps right beside him. They'll hand it off to him. And Daniel up the middle, carrying a tackler to the goal line. Is he in? No signal yet. Touchdown! Touchdown, Alabama. Gets the snap, looking, stepping up in the pocket, firing deep downfield. Got a man, Latier Brooks makes the catch, tripped up at the 12, then he fumbles where they're going to mark him down at the 12, maybe the 13-yard line. 33 seconds to go, and again, no timeouts left. Ty taking a lot of time, but gets the snap off, looks, fires, catch, touchdown, Alabama. Ryan Williams making the grab. Hooray for Hollywood as Bama extends the lead to 16-3. One man to the right of Nussmeier. He wants to throw. Pressure coming. He's going to go down. Jan Zapier brings him down all the way back at the 30, and it'll be fourth down for the Tigers.
We are a championship school, and school is in session.
All right, my bad there. That's a minus there for your show host. That's not how I thought it was going to end right there. That is, but the ending nonetheless is a win there for the Alabama Crimson Tide as they down the LSU Tigers. 20-9 is your final score. There is a lot to dive into in here, Drew. Good morning, by the way, and where do you want to start?
Well, it's been a short morning, as you can imagine.
I bet.
You know, and of course, it's the temperature's changed just a little bit, but
get ready.
Yeah,
get ready.
It's only about half as bad as it's probably going to get.
Yeah, tomorrow morning's supposed to be hello.
A lot of fun.
Yeah,
but it was an ugly football game. It wasn't a Picasso, but ironically, after watching this Alabama team play several times, and yes, I wanted to deport the kicker after the 26-yarder. I mean, I wanted to put him and Freddie Roach on a Greyhound bus and just send them back to Illinois. But LSU also missed a 30-yarder, so you can say it canceled out. And to Talty's credit, he drilled a 44-yarder, which basically ended the game because when you get a feel for a football game, it just never felt like LSU was going to score a touchdown unless there was some sort of big play that happened, kind of a flukish play where you make you miss an assignment or something and they break a long run or have a long touchdown pass. But I will say, though, I thought even though the offense wasn't very good last night, that they played the best complementary football that they've played all year because the defense was really good, didn't give up any touchdowns, and the special teams, even despite the 26-yard miss, Blake Dowd was outstanding, and then that punt pinning LSU inside the 2 was humongous because it set off the events of being able to get the field position to kick the field goal that ultimately iced the football game. And so, and then Jan Zapier, it was interesting. He wasn't a big factor in the first half, but the second half, he was a game wrecker. And I also was a little mystified, but I guess they just wanted a spark that Garrett Nussmeier got benched for Van Buren, but I guess they felt like they needed the mobility aspect, and they weren't, scoring points. They'd only scored 6 points. So, just an interesting move. And Van Buren's a great athlete, but he's an erratic passer. I mean, you can see it.
Drops didn't help as well.
No, I mean, LSU had several drops. I will say that, and But Alabama had a few as well. I mean, Ryan Williams.
But LSU's, to me, were at some critical times.
Well, Ryan Williams had one that it wasn't a drop, but what I'm trying to say is if you're paid $1.8 million and you're supposed to be a great player, you got to help the quarterback. And you've got to make those plays. And for the second straight game, Ty was a little off. I mean, he missed a deep ball to Lottie Brooks in the second half where he threw it late. And then the next play, though, that's got to be a layup touchdown to Jerm Bernard, and he just missed him. And with the way this offense is built, because, Steve, they are who they are. They're average on the offensive line.
Yeah.
They're average at running back. They just it puts a lot on Ty Simpson, but you've got to make those plays because right now he's not getting a ton of help. I mean, the running game is basically non-existent. I'll give Alabama's coaching staff credit. I do every week for they don't just try, if something's not working, they go into their bag and try to find something.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, it got so bad last night in the fourth quarter, they had to run Ty Simpson. The tailbacks aren't getting it done.
Yeah.
Let's see what Ty can do. And Ty did a pretty good job. But it is what it is. I do think the defense is getting better, which is encouraging. I thought except for one or two run fits, they did a really good job against the run for LSU. They didn't have a lot of busts in the secondary. I'll give Van Buren credit. Now, he did make 2 or 3 throws. I was like, how did he fit it in that hole?
Yeah.
But, and that's what Alabama decided to do. They were rushing 3 and dropping 8 because I think they felt like they're going to throw us one. Bray Hubbard dropped one that Nussmeier threw. Probably should have had it. But still, they did force the 2 turnovers. They only turned it over once. It was really Harold Perkins' only impactful play in the game, where he got the strip sack and the fumble recovery. But Alabama didn't. I think they held them to 3 there. So that's right. That's what you got to do. You got to hold them to 3. They held them to 3 field goals. Field goals are not going to beat you in most cases. And it was a win for Alabama. But I'll just say, and in some ways too, I said this to a few people. It might be beneficial because they can't rest on their laurels. They got Oklahoma coming, and Oklahoma has a defense that can wreck you. So you better be ready to go. And quite frankly, Oklahoma, I think they're not pretty offensively, but they've got John Mateer, who's got good mobility. And I'll just say neither offense, LSU or Oklahoma, to me is great. But John Mateer can improvise and make some plays. So, and I do think Alabama should be supremely motivated because guess what? I mean, we all know the story. Oklahoma knocked Alabama out of the college football playoff last year.
Yeah.
Now Alabama can return the favor to them because a third loss and it's going to be over. But again, it's going to be interesting. But I'll just say we always do this good, bad, and ugly thing. I thought the good was the defense and the special teams. Especially, Jan Zapier in the second half. I thought Bray Hubbard played well. I thought it was Deontay Lawson's best game.
Okay.
He's part of the locker room report.
Yeah.
I thought he looked like himself. I thought he was moving much better. Looked like he was trusting things. And I thought all 3 inside backers, Justin Jefferson, Nikai Hill-Green, I thought they all played really well. And so that's my good. The bad, of course, is
the running game.
That's the ugly.
Okay.
The bad, it was the missed field goal. That wasn't good.
Okay.
I felt like, and in some of the drops, 2 or 3 drops, and then the ugly was the running game. The offensive line, I didn't think was very good because they play a part in that running game. So I thought it was kind of an ugly game. When your most memorable play is your Taco Casa play of the game by Wilkin Formby, where he catches a ricochet and gains 2 yards.
Yeah.
That's pretty ugly. But I just felt like the O-line wasn't very good. The running game was definitely part of the ugly. But we'll see. They've got to find a way to get back in rhythm, whether it's long handoffs, whether it's laterals like we saw to Josh Cuevas. I don't know. They've got to figure something out to manufacture a running game if they want to get to Atlanta. And if you get to Atlanta, you're in the playoff. Okay. Now, I'm still not convinced this is an Alabama team that can make a deep run just simply because
can't run the ball.
They can't run the football that effectively. Now, situationally, they have at times, but overall, they haven't run it very effectively. And then Ty Simpson, he's played well, but the passing game has been hit and miss. And it's not like it's what we saw with Penix at Washington where they're throwing the ball vertically and they're scoring all these points. It's just not a Picasso. And the bonus though is the defense. The defense has gotten better. And again, I thought the kicking game did some good things. Now, I will say it kind of hurt to get that block in the back because they would have had the ball at the 25-yard line after a good punt return by Cole Adams. But again, you just got to keep working.
I thought that was a critical part of and I agree. It just
because this Alabama offense needed every kind of advantage because they weren't driving the football, mainly because they couldn't run it. And so,
what did you think of going for it on 4th and 1? What was that at the 39
early in the game?
That very first drive.
Well, you're in their territory and you're trying to establish yourself on the opening drive of the game. And it's just that's part of the ugly, man.
Yeah.
You run a quarterback sneak, you get nothing. And then you snap it to Jam Miller and he gets stuffed. You got to be able to make a yard. Okay. And, in those situations, I like it better when they bring Daniel Hill in and just toss him the ball.
Yeah.
Because he's a load that can a lot of times get a yard. And I'll be honest with you, I made this comparison to a good mutual friend of ours last night at 2:55 a.m. And you can imagine who that was.
Mm-hmm.
But this reminds me of Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs.
Okay.
The best player's not playing enough. Because I thought Josh Jacobs should have played more than Damian Harris. Damian had a good career at Alabama. Josh Jacobs is the more talented guy. We've seen that in the NFL. Daniel Hill should be playing more than 26. That's my opinion. Now, 26 can catch the football. He can run it every now and then. But Daniel Hill is the better player. And Daniel Hill, I don't give a damn about NIL. And that's part of it, politics and all this stuff. But, to me, Daniel Hill needs to be playing more than 26. They both need to play. And I thought Riley even had a couple pretty good carries.
Yeah.
Obviously, Richard Young is out of the picture. They don't trust AK Deer yet to not get the quarterback killed. So, look, but I just think Ford needs to play more because he can catch it, he can run it, he can block, he's a load. And when he squares his shoulders in north and south, at least you can get 3, 4, maybe 5 every once in a damn blue moon.
You mentioned the post-game report. You've populated my inbox with quite a few players. Where do you want to start? Who said the most, you think, last night?
I'd like to start with Deontay Lawson simply because I thought it was his best game. He's a captain. And his aura, I know this is sounding, like kind of, I'm sounding like a hippie here. But just the energy around him, the smile on his face, it's like he knows that he's getting better and that he's very close. And then he gets to play Oklahoma next week. And we all know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's the game he got hurt. So it's almost like coming full circle. But I'd say Deontay Lawson.
All right. Fair enough. Then let's
we need to clean up. And, we got to execute at a higher level if we really trying to.
Oh, come on now.
Okay.
Well, this may be the computer acting up on me more than anything.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Hang on. Let me try it the other way.
It is what it is. You never know with computers.
We're really trying to, we got to be the defense that we want to be. At a high level if we really trying to get back to the defense that we want to be, learn from our mistakes, and we'll get back to work tomorrow. Deontay, yeah, man, super proud of that guy. He coming to work every day, man. Super proud of that guy. Coming to work every day, that little extra gear, whatever I need to say to him, man, give him that little extra gear, whatever I need to say to him, work his tail off to just super proud. Do what he got to do to help his defense and his tail off to be, do what he got to do to help his defense, and he's continuing to show up every week for sure.
And Deontay, you look like you're getting better every week, and you really look like you were moving well. Talk about how you thought you played tonight and how you were feeling.
Man, first I just want to talk about the D-line. I could barely read my run pass indicators because they get in the backfield so fast. So, man, just salute them to them guys. Just trying to do what I can. Just trying to continue to improve and get better. I know I put in a lot of work, and I'm just keep going.
I feel like the defense is playing at a championship level.
No doubt. I feel like I say it all the time. This is a championship defense, and that goes back to the first question I got asked about our performance tonight. I just think we can execute better if we want to, be that championship defense. And we have all the right guys, got a great scheme, and we just got to continue to get better on the practice field, and that is showing Saturday.
What has it been about this defense and kind of getting those timely turnovers when you really need one?
Man, I just think that's what we preach. We preach on taking the ball away from people and getting the ball back to our offense. So that's something that we are all in practice on. That's how we start every practice, taking the ball away, our turnover circuit, and that's just what we pride ourselves on. So that's what we're going to continue to do.
What's the message that leadership share with the team in the locker room after that?
Enjoy the win. Enjoy the win. Any SEC game is not easy to win, but man, we know we left a lot of meat on that bone. Left a lot of meat on the bone out on the field, and we're gonna continue to get better, and got to get back to work tomorrow and fix our mistakes, and just continue to improve.
What were the challenges of prepping for a new coordinator, potentially?
Yeah, I think it was great that we had the bye week. Had an extra week to, do. Shout out my dog Gray over there. But just we was able to, any off look that they might give us, we was able to, rep that throughout the week at least 1 or 2 times, so we at least seen it. But it's always a challenge. But at the end of the day, you just got to fall back to your rules and what you know, and just swarm to the ball.
That is Deontay Lawson post game. Alabama a winner 20-9 over the LSU Tigers, and there was, to me, a different energy for LSU. You could tell Coach Frank was in control along that sideline. I was impressed, honestly, with how hard LSU played.
Well, I said all week they were going to play hard. I got the game flow wrong. I thought it would be a little more high scoring. I thought maybe, like we saw with the Auburn Tigers, that if you change head coaches and you play callers, that you might have some a little bit different results, and they might give Alabama a little bit more problems. Even though I knew they were up front, they weren't great, but but certainly the LSU played hard. I thought they had a really good defensive plan, and we need and with our locker room report, we'll hear from Ty Simpson here in a minute. And
all right,
he had some interesting things to say, because I asked him about that, because I wanted to know if part of the struggles were maybe just LSU gave them some looks they weren't prepared for. And this is a good LSU defense for the most part, and even without Whit Weeks, I mean they played really well, and they got after it. Now I will say I thought Alabama did a great job of not giving up sacks. I mean they except for the Perkins strip sack, they did keep Ty upright, and then Alabama, part of the good as well, only had 2 penalties. I mean, they played basically a clean football game.
But you mentioned that one very costly when Cole Adams bringing the ball back. I think it would have been like inside the 30.
25. It was going to be marked at the 25-yard line. So that one was big. But LSU had 10 penalties. And they had a sequence late in the game where they were still in it that really decided it, because on a 3rd down, Van Buren ran, slid too soon, and was marked a yard short. And then LSU
and by the way,
started.
When Matt Austin came on, I did not realize. I thought it's where your feet land, not where your hips drop.
Oh.
It's where your hips drop is when you mark the football. I mean, there are certain rules. If you watch the weekly whistle, the video that comes out, there is always a rule inside a rule where it's, You market this with the exception of this. You market this, but the exception is the game to me needs to be simplified.
Right.
That there is just way too many of, well, we're going to do this, but only if this happens, then it's this. Anyway, Ty Simpson, take it away, sir.
Hey, guys. Great.
How would you evaluate how you played tonight?
It is what it is. Not great, not what I wanted. But
win's a win. What can I say, right? Like, so that's why I'm not gonna, overlook it, underlook it, whatever you want to say. Thank you, but gonna enjoy it. So,
how do you balance that? Because you're right. Bottom line is win the game, and you did that. But knowing that the offense just seemed a little out of sync, and you didn't play your best.
Yeah, we just got to keep punching, right? Gonna be brutally honest. Like that's not up to our standard. Everybody knows that. Everybody on offense knows that. But that's why we have a good defense. So we got to come out next week, playing a good Oklahoma team off a bye week, right? So they're going to have some stuff for us. And we just got to make sure that we hold on to little things right, details, and go after it on Sunday.
I see you're trying to get the running game going a lot of different ways, a lot of different people. Yet it's just an area that you continue to struggle in. What else can you try?
Yeah, we just have to have confidence, running the ball, right? Like, I feel like that we're not very confident that we can think that we can run the ball very well right now, and it's all mental, really. Like, we got the good scheme, we got the great calls, got the great players, right? But we just have to want to and understand that like that's what we need to do, right? So we'll take care of it.
You guys connected on that deep pass, but there are also some moments that you didn't connect. So I guess what can you replicate from when it worked versus the moments where it didn't?
Yeah, that was a great job by Lottie to split in the middle. Kind of brutal, to be honest with you, right? There was a couple that were underthrown. There was a couple that were overthrown. Just kind of didn't find the great rhythm. Being honest, right? That's something we didn't work on in practice. Hey, we still threw for 200 something yards. So, it's something that we definitely need to work on.
Well, what do you see that you didn't like when you called that timeout in the red zone in the second quarter?
Which one was that? The one that
it was right before Daniel Hill's touchdown run.
Yeah. So we were going to run a certain type of play, right? And we were shifting to it, and they were in this funky front, and Parker wasn't sure on the mic point. The clock was running down, and I didn't want to go backwards, so I just wanted to make sure, hey, we got a timeout. We just needed to move faster. Very, very, wasn't intentional getting on the huddle tonight.
What does the next week look like? You talk about trying to bounce back from this performance and not being up to the standard. How do you try to fix that?
Yeah, starts tomorrow, right? It's, gonna look at the tape, move on from it, understand the good, the bad, the ugly, just do the little things right? Like we got a good Oklahoma team coming in here who was fighting for a spot just like we are, and they're gonna bring everything they got. So we have to understand that, grit our teeth and get ready to roll.
Well, you haven't been able to watch the film yet, but what did Blake Baker and their staff do? Did they do some things you guys hadn't prepared for?
Yeah, absolutely, right? Like they had a bye week. We did some stuff that they probably didn't prepare for. But they're pretty good on third down, right? They bring in a dime package, and seven's a good off the edge, right? And protectionally, we just have to make it simple. I felt like that we didn't make it simple, and. The grand scheme of things, right? Of just, hey, you got this guy and you got that guy, and kind of overthought it a little bit. But that's a good team, right? Like, their record may not show it, right? But that's a good defense. They're top 3 in the SEC, and everybody knows, like, the SEC is the best conference in the country. So, yeah.
How have you seen your defense stepping up in critical moments the last 2 games and the offense hasn't maybe been as consistent?
Yeah. Very obvious, right? That we need to play better. That's what I tell these guys on defense. That we got your back, but we got to play better for them. So everybody knows that. That's why it's a team game. You know what I mean? Like we count on the defense. Defense counts on us, and that's just part of it.
Are the challenges in the running game bleeding over and making things more challenging for the passing game?
I wouldn't say that. I certainly think that if we do run the ball, that it'll open up some stuff. We just have to have confidence in running the ball. That's it.
That is Ty Simpson. I'll go ahead and say that. I know that's a loaded question, by the way.
Right.
There is no supreme answer to that question, but yes, if you do run the ball, it opens up quite a bit. I think even the most rudimentary fan knows that.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, you're still talking about a team that's undefeated in SEC play. and still is having trouble running the football.
Well,
I mean there are so many other SEC teams would love to be in this situation that Alabama's currently in.
Trust me, I was trying to get the feel for around the SEC and college football on the way home.
Goodness.
And trust me, Alabama's not the only one having trouble running the football.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, matter of fact, their upcoming opponent, Oklahoma, has had some trouble.
Yeah.
Mateer has sometimes been their best ball carrier. So their running game has been hit and miss. And by the way, would you want to be Florida this morning?
I tweeted out last night. I don't know if you saw it. We need to rename the Florida State-Florida game this year because I mean, what kind of game is that gonna be?
Well, I told Brent Beard and Brett last night. I said I'm probably going to have to listen to your guys on 1010XL just to see their reaction after this one, and to
38-7
to surmise what they said. It was we suck. And Florida is the worst team in the SEC. That's what they said.
Wow.
And then Lagway threw for 83 yards and 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they want to put him in the portal at this point. He's been so bad. I mean, it's unreal. And I was shocked. I mean, I saw Brett,
well, when it first popped up,
I was like 31-7.
Yeah, when it first popped up, I was thinking, "Is this reverse? Is this?" But kudos to Kentucky. Clearly, that win at Auburn gave them a little bit of juice.
Yeah, and
gave them a little bit of confidence. But wow, that for Florida, it was interception, punt, touchdown, fumble, punt, interception. That's
to put it in perspective. This Florida defense has been pretty good all year long.
Yeah,
I don't think Kentucky punted because they were talking about that.
Yeah, you're correct. It goes field goal, touchdown, fumble, interception, touchdown, turnover on downs, end of game.
Yeah, and they were the XL guys were like, this Kentucky team sucks, and we couldn't make them punt. I mean. They were just, and you're right. The Florida State game, I watched the War Chant recap, it was pretty ugly.
I did not watch one snap of the Florida State Clemson game.
I did not either. It was obvious.
Well, you were a little more preoccupied than I was.
It was ugly, but I will say this. I watched a little bit of A&M. They're just a machine.
They're for real. I mean, goodness gracious, I think surgical.
They're every bit as good as Indiana and Ohio State.
I think they're the best team in America.
They may be. I mean, and right now Alabama can't beat them, in my opinion, because they're so explosive on offense and they can rush the passer and get after time. Don't forget Craver.
And was Moss out yesterday?
He was supposed to still be out, but they've got more than him.
Oh, no, yeah.
Ruben Owens
well, that was going to be my point. Was they did it without him. I don't remember seeing Moss. I'm getting the stats page right now up and running, but yeah, I don't know if you can fly under the radar anymore. Texas A&M, Moss did not get a carry.
He didn't play. He wasn't supposed to be back.
Yeah. Owens ran the ball 13 times for 102 yards. What's that feel like? They rushed the ball for 240. They passed for 221 and they rushed for 243.
That's what I'm saying. They're very, very good, man. And Alabama controls their own destiny. And if they beat Oklahoma and Auburn, they're going to be there. But I don't see anybody beating A&M though either. I just think A&M.
No.
I don't think Texas will beat them either.
Texas has their own issues at Georgia this week.
Yeah, they got to go to the Dogs.
That was an impressive performance by Georgia yesterday, just taking care of business. But Mississippi State again doing Mississippi State things, meaning Georgia turns it over and then you turn it right back over to Georgia in deep in plus territory, and It's little things like that have plagued Mississippi State all year long. All year, be it a penalty, a turnover, just one thing just kind of snowballs them, and they can't stop that snowball effect.
Right.
So
But I will say this: if Kalen DeBoer and his staff can navigate this Alabama team, if they can, and that's a big if right now, but if they can get to Atlanta and if they are 11-1, I think it's a hell of a coaching job. And I don't want to hear, well, Alabama's got the best roster in America. No, they do not. If you sit there and can actually watch the games and look at the talent on the field, they don't have the best roster. They've got deficiencies, but pretty much every team does.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, A&M doesn't have as many as others. And then Ohio State's very good. So is Indiana, even though Indiana needed almost a miracle.
I was watching that in the press box at Vanderbilt.
Penn State, you know. So.
Yes, I went to Vanderbilt yesterday for the Auburn-Vanderbilt game.
And it's just one of those years for Auburn. You get a new play caller, all of a sudden you have 560 yards of offense, but then your defense couldn't stop running water for the majority of the game and gives up 45. And so,
especially in the second half, Vandy second half this year as a whole has played much better in the second half than they have in the first
against
half.
Alabama.
That is very true. That is very true.
That's a credit to Alabama's coaching staff and the adjustments they made. But you know, Vanderbilt is still very much alive for a college football playoff berth. And after what we saw happen in the Bush Leagues, it was an even worse weekend for them than last week. I'm telling you, Steve.
ACC.
You've got to freaking have – the SEC deserves 5 teams before the ACC deserves a second. That league is terrible.
I think we need to have a real conversation about so the College Football Playoff Committee has yet to determine exactly what they're going to do moving forward. It is November the 9th right now.
Right.
So we're less than a month away of their deadline of which they're coming out. And you know what? Yes, we're probably going to expand to 16, maybe more. But
hell, I hope not more than 16.
Well, that is starting to catch a little bit of steam right now as well. But just picking the best teams of
look,
conference champions are great. They're wonderful.
Well,
giving them an automatic bid.
For example, right now, I think Vandy would win the ACC easy. I think they'd beat the hell out of everybody.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
I'm sorry. I just think they would.
Yeah.
And so I think the SEC deserves a minimum of 4 teams and maybe a 5th, because depending on how things play out and if you got 2 losses or less.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to depend. But because I think right now, the ACC, we may see a 3-loss champion out of there win the ACC championship game and get to the playoff and get the hell beat out of them. That at least that's what I'm thinking. And I think it's obvious now in the Big 12 that NIL University, aka Texas Tech, is the best team.
Yeah,
they beat the hell.
Their
out
strength
of
of schedule, by the way, Texas Tech is 68th in the country.
See. And they have
Indiana's 50th in the country. Ohio State's strength of schedule is 24th in the country. Texas A&M is 10th. Alabama is 4th. Notre Dame is 22nd. That's a little bit better than I thought, but that's going to go one direction, down. Georgia's is 8th in the country. Texas is 16th. These are all strength of schedules. And who else? LSU, by the way, their strength of schedule, 2nd in the country. So
LSU's played a great schedule. They just don't have a great team this year.
Yep.
And they don't have a good enough offensive line to run the ball consistently. And so
Auburn is 7th, by the way. So, all right, just to give you my little report, and I know this is a Bama recap show.
No, it's good.
Smoked by Dreamland BBQ. I was in Nashville. And that's the first time I've been there since the renovation.
How did it look? Because I haven't been there live.
It was spectacular. Now, it's small, but it's spectacular. And they did it in a way where more of the sound is just inside, where it's if they did a little bit more bowl-wise, it would be even louder. But I was thoroughly impressed with the show. Now, one thing that they did do, I didn't realize this, the Vandy band is about half the size that they used to be.
Oh, wow.
Where they are legitimately making this more of a show rather than featuring a college band, where that's a choice. It felt like the Auburn travel band was just as big as the Vanderbilt band. So, bless you. But nonetheless, it was a great atmosphere at halftime. And, kudos to, oh, goodness. I just blanked on the Auburn kicker.
McPherson.
Thank you. The kid out of Fort Payne kicking a long field goal right before halftime, making it 20-10, I believe, at halftime. And I bumped into Andy Bertram, and he just goes, offensive juggernaut. And it felt that way. It really did. But then the second half, and Diego showed up, and that was
the scourge of Auburn, Diego Pavia.
That's 3 years in a row that Auburn gets Diego'd. But I bumped into John Cohen, and I don't know if you saw him on the sideline. I know I took a picture and sent it to you.
I actually said I forgot and told somebody that was DJ Durkin. It was John Cohen. It reminded me of one of my favorite underrated movies, Ladybugs, where Rodney Dangerfield is looking at the sky going,
is that the soccer team thing?
Why me? Why me? And that's what John Cohen reminded me of.
Is that where he puts a dude on a women's soccer team?
Okay. And when for the goalie so she'll chase the soccer ball, they put butterflies all over it.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
You can quote that way better than I can.
Well, I love Rodney, so that's
yeah. But for me, the ultimate Rodney Dangerfield movie, and I know that's why you tuned in.
I know.
No,
okay.
Back to School.
Oh, well,
I think Back to School, you give me a good Thornton Mellon reference, and I'm good. I'm really good with that. But Caddyshack. Anyway, that's a whole other life of itself. 256-576-4977, the telephone number. And committee-wise, coming out, it did surprise me that analytics weren't more heavily used, because analytically, even this past Tuesday before the games yesterday, Texas A&M was better than both Indiana and Ohio State, but the committee didn't do that.
They didn't. They put them third.
They put Ohio State, Indiana, then Texas A&M, just like the AP boys.
Yeah.
So,
and look, man,
that surprised me.
I've called Texas A&M the Auburn of Texas many times, and I've taken shots at them. But they look, and because I didn't like Jimbo Fisher, but this is a really good team they have, and I like Elko. I like the way they play. They got Tommy Moffitt. I mean, they look like a national championship.
They look like one of those old school LSU teams.
Yeah, they're really a tough bunch. Marcel Reed's continuing to get better. They just look like they're going to be hard to stop, man. To me,
they look like a true team that is clicking right now in a big way. And I know they've got Texas coming up on the horizon. South Carolina, I believe, this week for Texas A&M.
Adios, Gamecocks.
Yeah, let me quickly look ahead. And, of course, Alabama taking on Oklahoma. Oklahoma coming off of a bye week this past week. So we'll see how much healthier Mateer will be. But Alabama is listed as a 6.5-point favorite.
I wondered. I would have guessed less. I would have guessed 4.5 to 5.5.
Well, Bama's a 6.5-point favorite. And don't look now, undefeated Tennessee Tech is at Kentucky this week.
I told some people that there's a couple things.
Yeah.
Tennessee Tech, and they were like, what? I said, they're 10-0 against that 4-5 Kentucky team. And then Auburn's playing Mercer. 8 and I think Mercer's 8-1.
You're going exactly. We've been doing this a minute, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, and so that's dangerous. And I think Mercer averages over 40 points a game.
But this is a bye week for Auburn this week. That's Mercer. The following week.
Then Mercer maybe 9-1 by the time they play them.
More than likely.
So
your conference games are the battle for the boot. Arkansas, LSU. Ugh.
Good Lord.
South Carolina is at Texas A&M. That's an early kick. Florida at Ole Miss. Ugh.
Good heavens. Talking about Lane wanting some revenge.
Ooh.
He and Wild Turkey, they'll be locked in for that one.
Mississippi State is at Missouri. That's
Mizzou,
somewhat.
Mizzou had a hard time yesterday with you're down to the third quarterback, and you're playing arguably the best team in the conference, and they just got the hell beat out of them. I still think Drink would be a great fit for Florida, but Florida is fixated on Lane Kiffin. I wanted to know what the 1010 XL guys were thinking. One of them even said he's hearing, and this is insanity. There's no way this is
hearing
true.
what? Come on now. All right.
Lane Kiffin, $20 million a year to go to Florida. And in context, Steve Moulton, think about this. That guy has never been to the SEC championship game.
No.
He's never won an SEC title.
No.
He's never come close to winning a national title.
No.
And these nutwhacks want to pay him $20 million a year.
Well, people would bring up him as a coordinator at Alabama.
Well, he wanted one there, but I'm sorry. And he won a conference title at FAU, but $20 million.
I think 2 at FAU. But
whatever. $20 million for Lane Kiffin to burn popcorn?
I agree with you. I think Drink, even to the point, I don't know if you saw, I saw this clipped out. Drinkwitz said, "Yeah, I'm just a bad coach." Post game after Texas A&M, Drink was just owning it, saying, "Yep, I guess I'm just a bad coach." By the way, Coach, you're not a bad coach.
I mean,
not a bad coach.
It's just one of those things. And then who knows? Mark Stoops, it's like he's trying to save himself. I mean, if they, and it's not in.
In the back of my mind, and I mentioned this last year, right before, because remember, it was last year that Mark Stoops was the Texas A&M coach for half a minute.
Yeah.
And here we are, another year forward, and A&M has set themselves up beautifully. And what might have been did not happen, and now Kentucky is won the last couple of games, but definitely Texas A&M in a very, very enviable position right now, being undefeated, ranked 3rd in the country. 256-576-4977, the telephone number. It is the Bama Recap Show, smoked by Dreamland BBQ. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, Steve. This is Jay. How you doing?
Hey,
buddy?
morning, Jay.
Good morning, Jay. Morning, brother.
Hey, morning, Drew. First off, Steve, love the shirt, brother. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. And hey, by the way,
I can't remember which
your
daughter
great
did
friend Clint Legg. I was talking to him at 11 o'clock last night on the way back home. We were being cathartic.
I've got several tie-dye T-shirts, courtesy of both my daughters. But they're starting to fade a little bit.
He hung up. He called me as soon as he hung up with you.
I figure.
Nice.
Hey, does Daniel Hill remind you a little bit of Bryant Robinson Jr.?
Well, a little bit. He's bigger, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show. I think he should be starting.
Yeah.
I think it's gotten to the point where D Hill needs to be RB1 because he gives them the best chance to run the football. I think, Jam's still got a role, and you can even use Kevin Riley, but and then I'll just say this. I said this to Ryan Fowler last night. Going forward, they need to get Germ 15 touches a game. And I mean, whether it's trick plays, whether you hand it to him 5 or 6 times as a running back and then throw him the ball. He's the best player they've got. They've got it. I didn't think they tried to get him the ball enough last night. Now, LSU may have had something to do with that, trying to take him away, but I just think they have to do a concerted effort schematically to get him the ball. I know that Ryan Williams can make plays, but Jeremy Bernard is the identity of that offense, and he can help them potentially manufacture rushing yards. They were trying to kind of get it to Lottie around the edges, but to hell with that. Get it to Germ, and then Germ. It was a key play in the game, Steve. Late there was I want to say a 3rd down and 1.5, and they gave it to Germ. And trust me, it wasn't blocked up all that great, but he found a way to gain 3 yards. Okay,
and I remember
like
that.
Yeah. And like you say, Drew, he's our Deebo Samuel, and like you said, he needs a lot more touches. And but what was the thought in the press box when that LSU fan ran out on the field? Because a lot of people didn't see it because they didn't show it on TV because it happened during a timeout.
Well, Brett Beard noticed it before I did, and then I zoomed in, and he goes, "I think they're escorting him toward the security." And I said, "Good Lord, T-Bob's cousin."
It's almost like somebody dared him to do it, because when he got over to that Louisiana State Trooper, he's like, he just throwed his hands behind his back because he knew he'd been caught. But I tell you what, we got to figure out this run game because this Oklahoma team, their defense is stout, and if we become one dimensional, get them, they're going to wear us out.
There's no question about that. I mean, Venables will have some things ready to roll, and then Mateer's a competitor. They got to find a way to contain him, make him throw from the pocket, and they have to stop the run first and foremost. And they got to keep getting better, and then they've got to play good complementary football again with the special teams. And that's kind of been lost in the shuffle the last few weeks, but Blake Dowd's done a good job. Now, they're not all pretty, and they have to roll, but hell, I don't give a crap. As long as if it rolls 45 yards, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? Just get it off. Don't get it blocked.
No, I am going to Miami, actually. UH Charger basketball tips it up Friday, and there'll be games Friday and Saturday. But no, if there was another place, it'd be between the hedges for Texas and Georgia.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I appreciate y'all taking my call. Y'all have a great rest of the day.
Thank you,
Jay. Appreciate you, man.
Well, we do need to take our one and only timeout. It is the Bama Recap Show, smoked by Dreamland BBQ. We'll be right back.
Log
from a game planning standpoint, you want to make sure you run that football effectively.